Excellent, and welcome to the TADSummit Innovators. We have Andriy from WebTrit PortaOne. He presented at TADSummit last year. So Andriy, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Andriy Zhylenko. I am CEO of PortaOne. PortaOne helps telecom operators to launch new services, to manage their existing operations more efficiently. And we do it through empowering people on the operator side to do customization and enhancements. We give them access to the source code, but we give them all the right tools, all the right base layers. So they don't have to spend their time and efforts on like writing mundane stuff like text calculations or rate deck uploading. They can focus on what really matters, what is unique to them. And they have customers in about 100 different countries, and the requirements and challenges are quite different. And that's probably one of the things I love the most about my job, which I'm doing for the last 20 years. Every time there's something new, you learn something, and there are things which keep amazing you.
Interesting. So for your so for your platform, you actually allow the customers to modify the source code, or is it just you provide the source code so they understand how it works and then build their own adapters?
We do provide the source code, and we give them ability to do modifications, and in 90% that serves as their insurance against us going greedy or crazy, because we all know the story about the big evil telecom vendors overcharging for professional services and customizations.
Yes,
not everybody needs it, and my engineering side says, guys, let's sit down, and before you start hacking, because it's natural instinct of a software developer, okay, I'm going to change it. But there's that joke that software development is like sex. You do something once, and then you have to support it for the rest of your life. So
exactly.
in order to avoid maintaining a whole bunch of customization and patches, most of the things can be done through API, can be done through plugins, can be done through webhooks we provide. But we had some customers, and they were doing pretty creative stuff, again, to supply their use case, their market niche, and they're able to do so.
Excellent, excellent. That's good to know. And that reminds me a little bit of what Amit does with Telecoms Exchange, because again, it's open source, so there isn't you're not trapped into a particular vendor. So it's like an insurance. It gives confidence, and what I see, it encourages far more open cooperation between the customer and the vendor, because they know, hey, we can add it to the stack, or we know we can maintain it, so we don't have a dependency. And if that you can see it applies to other customers, then you can say, hey, can we use this with some of the other customers, assuming they're not competitors of that particular customer, and it just helps the community grow. So excellent. It's just great to see that model being more broadly adopted. Now, where are most of your customers for PortaOne?
We have them fairly evenly spread around the world. So one third are in North America, then one third would be in Europe, and then we have customer in Vanuatu. Our trainer who had to go and do on-site training, I think he had to make 4 or 5 stopovers to get there. But also these days, it's very difficult to define where the customer is, because we have companies with their staff being in India, their servers being in our cloud data center in UK, their customers are being in the US, and it's very, very mixed up.
Exactly. It is a lot more complex. Now, are they more voice-centric, or what are they, like an MVNO, or are they more like a traditional fixed line sort of telco? I mean, what's the sort of category that best fits?
We started, more than 20 years ago. So our first customers were new wave VoIP operators. But then some of them grew, and they decided to add more services. Plus, our system were getting better, more powerful. So we were getting attention from ISPs who want to add something which allows them actually to earn money and make some profits. We had MVNOs, and for me as an engineer, the ones which I like the most, sometimes we have these weird cases. We had a company which started by they were looking at our system to provide some call center services in New Zealand, but they ended up deploying the system mainly to arrange a network of bed and breakfasts. So they were
Oh,
using our billing system capabilities to maintain information about the booked reservations, to make sure they charge a customer, they pay to the host, and do all those things. And that's the thing which I love the most, when we have customers gathering and they casually tell you how they already use the software in a way you never imagined it could be used.
exactly. That's brilliant. It's really good to hear. Now, from PortaOne, what drove you to create WebTrit?
I think about WebTrit as an SDK with a human face. Or if I put it in the real life example, I'm a software developer, so I can fit the stereotypes of like a nerdy guy who may not be that good with power drill or things like that. So when I need to do some home repairs, the worst moment is when I go to Home Depot and I see those shelves and shelves, and I'm pretty sure they have all the right tools and the right equipment, but which ones do I need specifically, and in which order do I apply them?
Exactly.
And usually talking to the guys there, it's almost like my 70-year-old aunt asking me about some computer configuration. I talk to her, but she doesn't understand it.
I understand.
That's why I like more IKEA. So you get your thing, you have a set of instructions, you can manage it, and in a certain amount of time, you get what you need. So with WebTrit, we were in telecom space. We saw so many companies who would say, well, we like your system. It can process calls, it can route calls, it can charge. Now we just need to put something in the hands of the end user, mobile apps, web calling applications, something. And our answer was, okay, we take care of the backend, but guys, front end, you can do it yourselves. There are some companies who will do it. And so many times there are very reputable companies who developed their own applications for calling. The problem was it was a classical application with teams developed, closed source. So when you come to them and say, well, I need an soft phone X, but with just the tiny things. For them, it's such a pain in the rear to do this and then maintain. So they would charge hefty price tag. That's why most of the projects I've seen in that area, they failed because it was too slow, too expensive, never worked, and so on. So we thought, what can we do? How can we empower people? Because also we see it right now. The industry is mature enough for telecoms, but there are still plenty of opportunities if you know your customers, if you know what they need. Because like everybody has a phone where you can dial. But if it's we had a project for, last week discussing for freight agents. They have some specific requirements where their calls have to be processed easily and done. They don't want just to dial numbers. So if you give those customers something which ties into their CRM or ties into their workflows, they will be happy. So how to do it? And that was our next step. And the first thing we, of course, will create a nice API, we'll create things which allow people to build applications. But then we realized, okay, we can make one step further. So instead of giving you like Home Depot style, here's API, here's this, here's that, and go and construct it, which is fine for professional developers, but there are not that many professional telecom developers. And those who are, they are usually very expensive and they are somewhere where they like it already. Let's create something which can IKEA style. You get this thing or Lego style. You have this blueprint and it's going to work like this. It's very easy to assemble. If you want to change something, or if you want to combine with Lego pieces from different sets, fine. It's easy and you will still have a solid working product. So that was the idea behind WebTrit. Give people a tool where they can build communication apps for telcos, but also for the other part of the development world, people who are coming from SaaS. And sometimes I read forums where people who are coming from purely SaaS background, maybe it's my friend in Barcelona, he has an agency which does tarot card readings. And they were going to launch a mobile app. And he found some guy who told him he will write him an app in 2 months. And like 1 year later, the app is still about to be released next week. So because for these people, it's even more difficult because again, for them, telecom is protocols, these crazy things.
Yeah.
And the front-end developers who before that worked with web applications, they usually hate learning about like what is an SDP, right? What is
Yeah.
net. They thought
Exactly.
we'll give them something which works, which is done by our team of professionals.
Yeah.
And when they need to change colors, when they need to add some special tarot cards, symbols, or whatever, it's the normal front-end job, which virtually anybody can do.
Gotcha. So it's just like a content management piece. You create your content, you load it up, and then it transforms the app. Cool. And tarot card reading. That's a great example because you can see how the video is components of that. There's potentially messaging within, and of course, voice. So that's a really interesting application. So where are you looking to take PortaOne and WebTrit? So, I can see that nicely complementary. I can see the evolution. I fully support, keep it open source, let our customers have access, have confidence, make it componentized. Because in fact, Robert Viss, who we interviewed last week, made exactly the same comment that developers are expensive. Also, developers are focused on the core business, not on a tiny piece of a feature or a communications piece. So you need to deliver packaged solutions that are easy to use. So again, I think what you've done with WebTrit and PortaOne very much resonates with the CPaaS industry as well. So it's really nice to understand that. But where are you looking to take the business now?
Well, for PortaOne, I see us moving also towards the space between telco and CPaaS, which are going to merge further and further because it's a mature, powerful telecom product. So it probably will be the best applied somewhere in that area. Although we always welcome this interesting project. We had a customer who was going to use it for calculating charging of electrical vehicles and all those things as a side model, because I think they thought it's going to be MVNO, but then it's going to be a value-added services which we can offer with MVNO, things like that.
Makes a lot of sense. Cool.
But with WebTrit, I'm secretly hoping to also to step a bit outside of telecom world, and it's going to be more like a generic software development community, because again, I've been doing this for 20 years. We all know each other. It's a very small space, and sometimes it gets boring at even trade shows. Like you see the old faces, you just wave them across the hall, and you know what's going on. But for WebTrit, and we now have a new initiative from PortaOne. It's a hardware kit called IoT Mill, and it's something like what a Raspberry Pi did for mini computing. This is our Raspberry Pi for IoT. So it's even more simplified. It can live for 10 years on single battery charge. And the idea is very similar. Developers are expensive. Most IoT startups cannot afford or will not be able in time to find a good embedded systems developer to do things they need. They should not. They get tool like IoT Mill or something similar, which already takes care of all this boring stuff, how to extract data from sensor, how to do IoT narrowband connectivity. Just add your pieces of code. Which sensor data do you need? Do you need them? Process them, where to send them, and that's it. So we expect that, of course, you do need to have some kind of IT experience, but it's not a full-scale IoT developer or embedded developer. And then you can get the most difficult part, because again, with software we do in the clouds, you found a bug, you make a change, you put it there, done. With hardware, you find a problem and you're waiting months and months and months to have it fixed. So they have a stable platform, and then they can just experiment with the software so they can deliver their product to market much faster with less hiccups. So we hope to see more IoT enterprises, IoT startups coming up. And then since we're working with telecom operators, for them, we advertise this idea that if you're selling SIM cards, you're selling like pretty much the same thing as the guy next door, and as the guy next door, and as the guy on the Google ads, who is not the next door, but they're on the different continent, but they sell SIM cards 10 cents or 1 cent cheaper than you. So instead of this, you can build this relationship with enterprises which are in your region, in your country, in your niche.
Exactly.
And if they use your hardware kits, if you use maybe some other services such as edge computing or maybe local data warehouses or something else which they truly need, then it's an ecosystem. And they're with you. And we all know the stories how if you launch a product and there's a component of it which you don't quite like, but you can complain, you can say, well, maybe I'm going to replace it, but it may never happen or happen in 10 years because usually the cost and efforts of changing something which is working okay is too high.
Gotcha. Now, are you looking at traditional SIMs or are you looking at eSIM applications?
Can be both. Can be both. Right now, actually, we thought more about like as a first version of product. It has traditional SIMs because we expect this to be more popular in the developing countries.
Gotcha.
I'm actually flying to Nigeria next week. There's there's a huge MVNO race. Their government released about 30 licenses at the same time for MVNOs, and then they said like ready, start, go. And now we can see what's going to work, what's not going to work. And there, most of them eSIMs may not be just available or may not be required in the first phase just because it's a bit difficult. But there are so many things which can be done and they need it. There is really market for IoT solutions.
No, I wholeheartedly support that. From TADHack, we have IoT. We had quite a few winning hacks out of Africa that were IoT based in terms of because of climate change. There's like rust, which is a disease, is impacting farmers. Early detection is critical, so they can isolate that piece of the field. Another one we'd had was transport, getting from the farm to the city. And there's so much spoilage. Over half the products from the farm get spoiled before they reach the city, optimizing that environmental impact. So it's out of Africa, out of South America as well. We see loads of IoT applications, and especially with tools that are cost appropriate, that can be managed locally, means the whole price points are appropriate for the market. So I can absolutely support what you're seeing there and say, we've had that for quite a few years now within TADHack as an important innovation area. So that's great. Now, are you looking to raise cash or are you self-funded or, financially, what's the plan?
Well, for PortaOne, we bootstrapped ourselves. If I were to do it again, probably I would do it differently. I would try to raise cash because I have a great advantage of right now we are responsible to ourselves and we build this company. We run it for 20 years with my business partners who all met in Telenor 22 years ago. And we did it just, we do want to earn money as every company does, but also our goal was to give telecom community this product which will give them the source code, which will give them ability to innovate. Sometimes I view myself as during the wild west of VoIP in the early years. We were the guys who were supplying reliable wagons and tools. So these guys would go there and they would settle in new territories and they will make it habitable and they will do a lot of good things.
Exactly.
So that was our mission then. Right now with newer project, I do understand that sometimes it's important to be able to build the team fast, being able to grow fast. Because if you wait for 2 years with the perfect product and somebody will come to the market in 1 year with not so perfect,
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny, do you have anything for Andriy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of blown away here by Andriy and what they've done. I mean, I'm looking at your list of customers here and partners. I mean, it's mind-bogglingly impressive. I mean, twofold. I mean, I love the passion on your new project. Obviously, IoT is a very important piece of the future on many levels. Have you thought about actually selling PortaOne and then and using that? Because it's very clear who you're partnered up with. And I love the deal you did in Brazil. I mean, that's a tough market to work in, a tough group, and to deploy that with IoT. So I think my question to you is, so you bootstrap one company, you have another company going out. Alan asked a question. Is an exit because I'm big on the finance side, an exit something that's in your vision, or is this something you guys just want to continue to run forever?
For us, it's important, of course, the legacy of our product and our team. Plus, right now we have about 200 engineers in Ukraine, and
Wow.
also I feel responsible for us for providing them salaries so they can keep their families fed and they can work with them. So I want to make sure, and so if we were to exit, this is going to be for a company which will take it to the next level and will allow us to build a better product and serve better customers.
Pretty amazing. I mean, staggering. How many customers you guys? Over 500 telecom companies. I mean, you got pretty much everybody. I mean,
there's
what's
one
left?
important thing about the list of customers. We see some impressive names like Vodafone and T-Mobile. However, most of them we sold it to them when they're not T-Mobile yet, or we're not Vodafone yet. Most of customers appeared because they had to acquire tier 2 operator, which was so successful. So it was like David and Goliath. And Goliath understands they don't have a tool, they don't have capability to win over them, so we just have to buy them. That's why I see, again, it's not, I think it's a general trend in the industry, the death of an RFP. This old approach when the big telecom, they say, okay, we need this software, and they make it definitions, and then some big vendor comes and will deliver them with perfect software. Doesn't happen. I haven't seen it happen ever. So we see the new way, and actually we do see change between even bigger operators when they shift from that mentality and they start to think more about, okay, this components, how we can get it, what are not the amount of checkboxes in the RFP, but how really it operates. Can we do a real POC? Does the engineering team like it?
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing, because it will, in the long run, it will allow everybody to, in the telco industry, to operate more efficient business and provide better services.
Exactly. It's a big purchase. It's like buying a car. You don't just say, I want that one. You trial to buy. You know, you basically get in and you test drive and you see how it works. And I think that is a very important change, because it's not just, does it fit this random list of requirements that somebody behind a desk has created? Does it work with our customers? Does it work with our processes? It's all those process and people issues you get to test as well. So this is excellent. It's good to see. So, I mean, again, I'm glad we had this chance to talk, Andriy, to get to understand more, because you were focused on WebTrit at TADSummit. Again, thank you for giving that presentation. But I'm really happy we got to explore more about the history and what PortaOne's getting up to and where you want to take the business. So again, thank you so much, Andriy.
Thank you very much. And as a concluding word, I just want to say that right now I'm in Ukraine with my team here. This morning, the first time in my life, I had to learn how to act during air raid alert. So unfortunately, this is not over here, and Ukraine needs your support, working with your local representatives, local governments. When this war is going to be over, then I think everybody, the whole world, can live in a better and safer place.
Absolutely. Well said.
We're big Ukraine supporters, as we told you prior to the call. And I think that needs to be the message here. I mean, the talent, the brilliance, the people of Ukraine need their country, and deserve their country. And we'll scream that out. Absolutely. Go Ukraine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. To your local representative, let them know how you feel about it.
Seriously, no tougher people on the planet Earth, period, full stop. So we're in awe.
Thank you.
Over here for you. Just so you know, in New York, they're in awe. So people are in awe.
Thank you, Andriy.
Thank you.